This is the Cash Considerations Podcast with three guys from Pittsburgh, Philly, and Boston talking sports. God help us all. This is the show. Take it away, Dave.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations Podcast. Today is March 1st. It's Tuesday. It's now March. And you know what that means. It's going to be basketball talk. It's going to be hockey talk. It's going to be No, it's not going to be baseball talk because they still can't get this shit right. But with me, as always, the boys. My name is Dave Sharapan. I'm at SportsBKConsig on the Twitter. The show is at Cash Consid Show on the Twitter. On the YouTube, Cash Considerations Podcast. Thank you for subscribing. We're up over 700. Going to the moon. The boys are here. We're going to do our thing. First, as always, he's up in Wayne Manor, outside of Boston, hanging out, back in the cold. Spring is, on its way. Celtics are playing better. The Bruins, pretty good hockey team. CH, how you feeling? What's up, CH?
There you go. What's up, CH? How are you? How you doing? Let's go, man. Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, Friday late night. Who cares what day it is? We're doing the show. Let's go.
Game day. That's how the text starts. A little inside baseball behind the scenes. It's a quick text and it says game day, and we get together. So that's Carl Haskell. He's at What's Up CH on the Twitter, the coordinating producer, social media manager, email guy, cashconsidshow@gmail.com, and obviously co-host of the show. The other co-host of the show, dressing up on a Tuesday because he's got basketball games he's got to go broadcast for WEEU up in Reading outside of Philadelphia. Coat and tie, no coat right now, but he's got the tie on, fresh look, hair down, ready to go. He's Dan Alexander. He's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter, obviously the co-host of the show, the executive producer of the show right here, along with everything else that he's doing. Newbie, how you feeling? What's going on? How's things up there?
I'm doing terrific, Dave. We're back. A little afternoon delight recording session with the boys. Get your, Starlight Vocal Band or whatever the fuck their name is. A little throwback there for you. Happy to be here with you, Dave. I'm doing terrific because we'll get to it in the basketball segment. But we're rolling, and that's in the professional league, of course. Last week I joked about how it gets to be the point of the year where I actively start rooting against the teams that I'm covering. I said it in jest, and they said, forget you, newbie. We now have, I think we're up to 8 teams that have qualified for the state tournament. Berks County basketball is rolling, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, man, you're going to be busy. That's what happens. It's just like in the book, when you root against a team, they keep winning and they keep fucking you and they keep, mentally messing with you. And so this is good. Now you're going to be doing basketball for another couple of weeks, and you might get all the way to the state finals in Hershey.
Yeah, but we had the state final. Well, the district finals are already in Hershey. So it's looking like I'm going to have a triple header this Saturday. If a team gets back to the state finals, we covered Reading winning the state final last year. Busy times, Dave. And then the listeners know I'm going to be doing lacrosse coaching in the spring. So
yes.
I'm taking up the Consig way of life, and that's never have a free fucking second. Just make sure you have something to do every second of the day.
That's it. That's worked for me. It's kept me young. It keeps you very busy, and you get to meet some great people doing it. So sign up for it. That's awesome. The show format is going to be pretty simple today, boys. We're just going to kind of swing around the sports. We're going to mention some lines, some future prices, things like that. Picking the games now, we'll discuss a few things here and there, but there's other shows and other things you can do that with. I mean, like myself on Bostonia versus the book with Peralt every day, Matt Peralt, and you can find that stuff there. And then B. Howe and myself at Brad Howe 07 on 8 in the Box. You'll find that also on the Cash Considerations Podcast YouTube channel. The boys talking the Line Media, they're going to get some stuff together. We're going to start seeing them on stuff. So there's all kind of places you can find the content. So what we're going to do here is like a global talk. It's not specific. It's kind of global, but it's, this is what we do. So if you enjoy the show, again, hit the subscribe button. You can get all the stuff there. Follow each one of us on Twitter. There's a lot of banter back and forth that you may not get during the show, because right now we're doing the show once a week, and we're trying to get that out there as soon as possible, so you have all week to find it. But we talk a lot on the social media. There's a lot of banter back and forth, and between newbie posting stuff now, and like the food stuff is ridiculous. CH has taken over this. What he's done to the Lakers and the Nets is an absolute thing of beauty. I mean, yes, it's the hashtag anybody but the Nets or the Lakers. There's all kind of things happening on a daily basis there. And if you like to interact with us or the show, just reach out there. I mean, Ringo's tweeting at us now. Anthony Riscotti, putting stuff out there. I mean, the boys, there's a real community building with the show. We really appreciate it. So do all of that. All right, that shit's out of the way. First order of business, baseball. What the hell's going on? I mean, seriously, I was up last night. I was listening to Twitter Spaces. I mean, Bob Nightingale, Jeff Passan, all this stuff. CH, what is your opinion at this point? I mean, there's going to be baseball. Just nobody knows when. I'll ask Newbie this question. Go ahead. What do you think?
I think just tell me when everything's done and they're starting to play. All the rest of the bullshit and all, I really couldn't care less. Just tell me when pitchers and catchers are going to be there. Tell me when I can put a game on. Tell me when opening day is going to be. The rest of it, I couldn't care less.
That's it. I think a lot of people are actually at that point now, like real baseball people are like, enough with the bullshit. Like nobody cares. But one thing that this big stickler negotiating point is the playoff format. Talking about letting 14 teams in the playoffs, Newbie. I'm a Pirate guy. This might give the Pirates a shot to actually get in the playoffs. But like, seriously, as a casual baseball fan, but a Philly guy, is that good for the game?
I mean, for the game, no. I mean, you're going to have the exact same issue that you saw in the NFL playoffs when you added more teams. The quality of the first round games were blowouts. They were shitty outside of one or two. So you're going to water down the product. You're going to make what it means to be in the playoffs that much less. But as a PA guy too, Dave, if that's the way that the Pirates finally get in, the Phillies, they haven't been in the playoffs for over a decade. So maybe if they just let everybody in, make it a participation award, getting into the playoffs. Hey, if that means the Phils are back in it, I guess. But I saw this tweet, and you guys really have brought my baseball fandom a little bit further along. You know what I mean? Like when the spring would come around, I couldn't give two shits about baseball. And then you started showing me what a fun sport it can be when you really dive into it, when you really look at all the different storylines and anything. It's very similar to really professional sports leagues as a whole, where they can almost be a soap opera for men, and much more soap opera for men than what the hell is going on with these owners. I saw this tweet, and I think it's really apropos to what a casual fan feels. This is from GF Star 1, whoever the fuck that is. But I wanted to credit them. That's what we do here. We credit people when we see their tweets.
Yes.
We say whoever the fuck they are, but we do give them credit.
It wasn't disrespectful. It was just, I don't know. She looks like a lovely lady, Gabrielle with a sunflower. I'm sure she's a great person.
Yeah.
But she writes what Major League Baseball has done since 2019: multiple cheating scandals, cut 42 minor league affiliates, fought players on the 2020 season until it became only 60 games. Manfred referred to the World Series trophy as, quote, a piece of metal. They've now locked out the players as well. So a lot of great accomplishments stacking up for baseball. The one thing Major League Baseball has not done since 2019, Dave, make baseball better. And this new development with adding in different teams to the playoffs, is that making baseball better? I'll let you guys decide that. I would probably lean towards a no and lay the juice on no.
That's actually
what is just the picture a dream world where the Phillies play the Red Sox in the World Series. What are they going to be playing on Christmas Eve? I mean, what the fuck? Seriously.
Dream world. I just went to Dream World. If that actually happens, CH, I don't care if they play like the NHL Stadium Series and they play it on fucking ice. If it's the Red Sox and the Phillies, whenever they play at CH, I'm good with that, man.
Oh,
They got to cut back to like 140 games or something if they want to expand the playoffs.
yeah.
I think that would go a long way to bringing in more casual fans, because I think one of the biggest counters you hear to, well, why aren't you a baseball fan? Right away, what's the first thing? Season's too long. You know what I mean? And now you're going to add more playoffs onto it when the number one objection is, how do you get me invested for this super long season where, you know, a streak really ends up becoming a moot point? A team can win, 20 straight games and still be a team who ends up missing the playoffs in the current format, I guess you should say.
That's the thing. The season's too long. The games are too long. You talk about betting. It's perfect for in-game betting, but it's tough to bet baseball every day, and because the games are every day. And I said it all along. I've said it the whole time I was in the books, and I stick to it now. The best bettors I know, the guys that actually win, are baseball bettors, because they're so disciplined and they just grind and grind and grind. And it really is the most analytical thing that I think applies. Pitchers, batters perform, because the season's so long, to their number more often than not.
Great point.
Right? There's so much happenstance and crazy shit that happens in football, turnovers being one of them, and penalties and all these things. You can overcome a bad official in baseball sometimes. You can overcome, a freak base hit, home run, whatever. But bullpens become bullpens after 2 months, and they kind of stick to that. So I just think people wear from it. They just get tired. They plan summer vacations. They do a lot of shit. Football comes in August. Well, by the time it comes, everybody's more than ready to do it, and they're done with baseball. So it's an interesting discussion. I really hope it's done and not too much of the season compromised. But I agree with you, CH. Baseball in October, because of the stakes, are great. Freezing your ass off at the games and watching the game not be what the whole season was sucks. And in places like Boston, Philadelphia, I was at the 1979 World Series Game 3 against the Orioles. My prevailing memory is freezing my ass off at the baseball game. The Pirates lost to the Orioles. I don't remember the score. I still got the program. I bought a souvenir ball. All I remember is I could not feel my fingers and toes by the 5th inning, and I wanted to leave. And my cousin, who took me and my brothers, were like, yeah, you're not leaving. We're staying. It's the World Series. So that was good.
And the thing is, it's the most important time of the year, and the quality of the product suffers too. The players don't want to be out there when it's 20 degrees. How do you throw 100 miles an hour when it's 20 degrees out?
Can't get loose.
You can't get loose.
Yeah,
pinch hitting, you're coming in off the bench, and you've been sitting there for 6 hours because that's how long it takes to play the game. And
sucks.
Right.
Definitely no good. All right. So it's not really in the rundown, but I have to mention it because college basketball has taken the forefront. Newbies doing high school basketball games. You're watching NBA majority, but like college basketball is incredible. And this is the month for college basketball. It was March. A lot of people coming to Vegas just for the tournament for years. I mean, it was a massive week before, and then the first weekend is just massive. There's people that plan trips. At some point, we'll probably have a trip where we're doing shows where we'll meet at a place like this, and we'll get together and hang out. We'll do a show, and then we'll watch the games together, give each other shit, make bets. It's so much fun. It's great. So my only question for each one of you, I'll go back to you first, Noobs. Are you interested in wagering on college basketball because of the tournament at all? Or are you pretty much like, listen, I ain't really watched this shit for a couple of months. I don't really want to dive in here now when the lines are probably the sharpest and the money is, this is the biggest public event other than the Super Bowl of the entire year.
Now, I think, am I going to originate play and be like, oh man, I really love this under because these two offenses, I'm not going to do that. but there are people like you and Matty P were just doing a great segment on Bostonian versus the book today, previewing these conference tournaments, picking the lines, picking which team you think is going to be, potentially play on come the playoffs. So there are people who eat, sleep, and breathe this shit, Dave, and I'm more than happy back in their opinion. It's funny, just as you were asking me that, the viewers on YouTube probably saw I was looking down at my phone. I got a text from my one buddy who all he does is college basketball stuff. He said, "Hey, we like an under tonight." I went, I placed it. I have no fucking clue. I'm not going to watch the IUPUI game in Oakland, but he told me bet under, and it's a good play. And I'll back those all the time. I will say, Dave, I love doing a bracket. Like I love when it's the actual March Madness tournament. It's one of the best events in sports because it's so fun. Even if you didn't pay attention, you're going to make a lot more money if you paid attention all year long, but you can still have one of the funnest sporting events of the year and have, shit talking and, with your buddies, and everybody becomes a basketball fan this time of year. And I absolutely love it, whether I'm a college basketball guy or not,
Without a doubt. And hopefully we're going to actually do that. We're going to have a cash considerations bracket contest, ideally. For listeners of all the shows and all the boys that have been on the show, we'll put out a thing like, hey, we'll either do a free to enter one, or we'll, for bragging rights, or maybe we'll do a small entry fee contest. I don't know yet. We're going to,
and if people are interested, shoot us an email at cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Get at us on Twitter at cashconsidshow. And if you would be interested in joining a little bracket pool, let us know, and we'll see what kind of interest we have. And then we'll gauge, what we'll be giving the winners based off of that. But reach out to us. The time is nigh, Dave.
I like it. CH. So, college basketball is maybe secondary up there, but like you're close to Providence, and Providence has taken college basketball by storm. They just won their first Big East championship ever. And gambling Twitter hates them. No one, like Ken Palm, has them rated so low. I just talked to Matt Lindemann. He's at Linda Train on the Twitter. He's an odds maker at WinBet. He has them 60th with teams like VCU and Belmont and all this stuff. He's like, I don't even watch the games. I have a formula. It goes in, and this is where they're at. Is even Providence being this close to you enough for you to get involved in opening up the app and making plays on the games? Or are you just a casual fan that kind of like Newbie, who just kind of really enjoys the March thing, is maybe going to follow some plays and fill out a bracket pool, which I believe you did last year and beat both of us.
Well, it was young Consig who filled out yours, allegedly, CH, allegedly.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, that didn't come out until he was far behind us. Suddenly it was Kendall who made his picks for him.
I didn't want to make you guys feel bad. If she wins beforehand, I had to tell you after.
So I'm going to tell you what happened this past Saturday. Went and had some lunch, and I sit down at the bar, and they had the Sixers game on. Who did the Sixers play? The Knicks on Saturday?
Yeah,
they had
was on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. This was Sunday. Yeah. Okay. So I sit down at the bar, and they got that game on, and the guy sitting 2 seats down from me says, "Hey, can we change the channel?" I'm like, "I want to watch the Sixers game." He says, "No, we're going to put on the Michigan game." I said, "Oh, all right, Michigan, huh? Who they play in Illinois, right?" All right. So I took out the app, and I said, if I'm going to watch this game, I'm putting a little bit of something on it. I look at the numbers, and I think Illinois was 1-point dogs, if I remember correctly.
Before the game started?
Before the game started, yeah.
So Illinois was at Michigan. Illinois
was at Michigan.
I think it was a 2-point dog.
Might have been 2 point.
Yeah.
So I grab Illinois on the money line before the game starts, and I feel like a fucking genius when they go up by 8 points in like the first 6 minutes. And the guy sitting to my right, I see him take out the app, and I'm like, all right, what's going on? Because this doesn't happen up here. There's not a lot of this betting going on up here, right. Especially in public. And the guy's takes his phone out. I said, who you got? He said, I had Michigan before the game. I said, big mistake. Shouldn't have gone with Michigan. Look at how old I don't know how old that assistant coach is, but Jesus, I think he was there when Dr. James Naismith invented the game. I think he might have been on the floor for that game. Anyway, we get to go through the whole game. I said, you know what I'm going to do here at halftime? I think Michigan was down by like 8 at halftime or something like that. I said, I'm going to grab Michigan here for the hell of it because there were, I think, plus 275 at halftime.
Right.
I said, what the hell? Why not? Take a shot, right? So I grabbed them at halftime, and that was throwing money away. But to answer your question, Dave, yeah, I'm ready to get into some college basketball now. Definitely the brackets. I might even start, doing a little sprinkle between here and there, so I can kick you guys' asses in our bracket challenge.
This is perfect.
Ooh.
This is good. See, this is what happens. I hope you told him that you're the star of an up and coming sports gambling podcast that he should listen to. Because
I did.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling literally
luck,
every
good luck.
person that I run into, and Sean and Josh and the Wizards, I mean, like, we're going to have to do these business cards or these things where we give people this and they can download and
Hell
be
yeah.
subscribed immediately, because everywhere you go, you're seeing it, you're feeling it. And like, you're having lunch at a place and a guy opens up the app and you start talking. You don't have the amount, all the unit shaming that goes on the social media. Who gives a shit how much you bet? It doesn't matter. You're involved in the game. And now you're doing it to talk shit with the boys or girls or just to make a wager. I mean, we went down to Chicky and Pete's down at the Sahara and we were watching a game. Or no, we were watching the 3-point shootout. And I put bets on everyone at the table had an opinion. And so I put bets on just, so somebody could be right. And Little Consig won that too. She picked Karl Anthony Towns to win the 3-point shootout because he had the biggest odds, right, Daddy? I said, yes. The kid knows. I mean, I say nobody knows shit all the time. She knew when she looked at the sheet what the right number was to take. So that's fun. That's the college basketball. We'll get into that more next week as we continue. But it's good to hear that your boys are diving in. There's one team though in basketball that really everybody's talking about. This guy went there. I didn't really like the beard before when he was in them other places. But I mean, like, look at Newbie's beard. It's trimmed. This guy's beard that's on his team, it ain't like that.
A little scraggly.
Much, but they play this song. What, Newbie, help me out, please.
I'm just trying to think. Oh, it's starting to come back. It's coming back. Like the Sixers championship hopes. Like CH saying, I want to watch the fucking Sixers game, but then betting on Michigan and betting on Illinois. We're back, baby. We're back, bitches. And the thing that sucks, though, Dave, is we've learned on this show, like, I want to go to the Wells Fargo Center, aka the Spectrum, and watch this game, and I can't. Like, I don't get to probably ever see Harden play live. If we do, we have to make max bets on whoever they're playing on the money line. Like that's the only way that I can attend games now, is having an absurd amount of money on the other side. But man, chemistry's looking good. And I know it's early. It's 2 games, so I'm not doing the, oh my goodness, we're going to have the parade and everything like that. But I saw something, and I'm closer to it than you guys are. I've infected you. I've used my CH powers. Yes. I don't know if for good or not, but you guys have paid more attention to the Sixers than you ever had. Now the whole entire nation is paying more attention. They have a much bigger litmus test coming up over these next few games than they did in the 2 games prior. I mean, you're going to learn more about this team playing the Cavaliers and playing the Nets coming up, even though Simmons' back magically hurts. I got a really nice chair right here. I use it for gaming. I use it so Ben, get a chair like this. Your back will be good because your back can't be hurting from playing basketball. I mean, you're sitting on a gaming chair all fucking year long. I don't know how his back is magically hurt, but you're going to learn more about this Sixers team over this next 6-7 game stretch than you are when they're playing, a Nets team with some injuries, and they're playing the Timberwolves coming off of, KAT winning the 3-point shooting competition. I think you're going to see a lot more. Is this just a honeymoon stage, or is this chemistry for real? Because the big 3 of Embiid, Harden, and Barden, as they're being affectionately called, and Maxey, and now Tobias Harris is able to be a 4th option rather than a 2nd option. Yep. That helps him out. So It's exciting, man. I'm not trying to get too overhyped because I've seen this ending to this story, but it is exciting. And I personally don't view this year as a championship or bust year. Personally, I think that, you'll learn a little bit about the team. And then when Harden wants to get traded, then you bring Damian Lillard to town and everything will be okay after that. So I don't view it as a championship or bust season, as some people are maybe painting it out to be.
You guys in Philly are unbelievable.
Jeez. All that, and you're 2.5 games ahead of the Celtics. So pump the brakes a little bit there, buddy.
So, I mean, I'm actually old enough to remember the 1983-84 Sixers and them winning the championship. And I can name a lot of those guys on that team. I can name a lot of guys on this team. The odds have moved. Yes, I think people are maybe awarding them a spot in the Eastern Conference Finals a little bit premature.
I agree.
But it is fun to watch. CH knows better. CH is from a place where they've won a few championships. They have a few banners up in the rafters at that place. The Celtics, 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're currently 6th in the East, quietly just winning basketball games most of the time. CH, Eastern Conference. Are you excited about the NBA? And we've infiltrated you with the song, which I absolutely love. People love to hear the song every week on the show. So we're going to keep playing the damn thing. And now,
speaking of which, did you guys see that video of the woman's classroom where she was playing it and all the kids were, and there had to be like either a Knicks fan or a Nets fan with the thing over his head. He had like
no,
trying to pull it off. Oh, I'll tweet it at you, Dave. It was making its waves around social media. It was an awesome video, man.
Oh yeah,
I did see it this morning. All the kids dressed in red, sitting in the classroom, singing the song.
I can't
wait.
wait.
It was great.
Yeah, every single day, my 8-year-old Kendall asked me, "Are the Sixers playing today? Can we hear the song?" Sunday when they beat the Knicks, and I did the Sixers win on Twitter, and I saw the Knicks fans, cheering for their team, and he embedded the song behind it. Jessica started humming the song.
Let's go.
It started to happen all over the place. So it's fun. But CH, I mean, like, you've seen this. You've been there. You're old enough to remember. I mean, Johnny Most called the games, but you remember, Havlicek stole the ball. I mean, like,
whoa! I'm not that old.
All right.
Jesus, I think that was in black and white, Dave. Jesus Christ, I'm like 10 months older than you. Settle down.
I know. I just want to see if you're paying attention.
Jesus.
But like, seriously, it's fun again, is it not? The NBA is fun again.
It is. And, I look at the Eastern Conference, right? And wouldn't the Final Four of the Sixers and the Bucks and the Celtics and the Nets just be a lot of fun for like a month?
Oh, must-watch television.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Right? And, I mean, seriously, okay, so say that's the 4. Who's going to win that?
Oh, the Celtics are going to win
that.
Spoken like a true Boston.
God damn
no,
it.
they're not. The Sixers are going to win the conference. It's just a matter of what road they're going to have to go through to get there.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about as far as, I just don't know, Dave. I've seen the ending to this story so many times that I don't understand. I can't put them squarely. Yes, they're winning the conference. Yes, I have a ticket on it, which probably means that they're not going to. It's a really nice, juicy payout. I want to be with CH there, but I feel like I'm probably more trying to distance myself from that to like guard myself from heartbreak more than anything. Cause I don't do anything half-assed. So like once I'm in that they're winning the East, I'm fucking in, and there's no turning back.
Yep.
So I need to see how they look over this next stretch, make sure that they stay healthy before I put them there. But I try and rack my brain, Dave. I mean, you're looking at the odds every day. Like, if not the Sixers in the East, who else? Like, is all those teams that CHS mentioned, like, are they all live? You know what I mean? Because it defies logic to me that with what we've seen from the Nets, what we know about the Nets, that they're the odds-on favorites. Like that still to me makes no sense. Like you're in the book, Dave. You're the one who would be hanging that number out there. How are they the favorite? They're so far back, or not so far back, but they're decently far back in the East from that 1 seed. Is it just Nets fever? It's KD. It's still people buying into the big three, or they're saying when Kyrie comes back, like that is one of the most biggest anomalies in sports betting right now, is how they are still the odds on favorite and it hasn't budged, Dave.
Can't explain it. There's no logical explanation. I would be in the room saying, go get some Nets money. Like, go get it now.
Exactly.
Because they have to go on the road. Go get the price now. There's nowhere else for it to go. They're already the first or second choice in the Eastern Conference, 3rd overall behind the Suns and the Warriors to win the NBA championship. We ain't seen these guys all play together yet. I don't know how KD's going to come back. We saw this last year. Everybody had the Nets in the finals. CH was ahead of the curve with everything when he said #anybody but the Nets, just like the show. We're kind of ahead of the curve with a lot of things. And he's put it on them. They ain't winning. I don't think they're winning. The gauntlet for the team that wins the East is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But like the Miami Heat are the number 1 seed right now. And they're the 4th choice odds-wise. The Bulls are right behind them. They can't beat a team with a winning record. They're 1-11 against a team with them in the standings. It's not a winning record, but they don't beat good teams.
Like top teams. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I know the stat you're talking of. I don't have it up. But I've kind of been saying that since the beginning, is the Bulls are way exceeding expectations for them coming into the year. And I feel like that ultimately is going to hurt them, because how often do we see in all sports, it's a stepping stone to get. Very rarely are you going to have a Suns who, boom, we're here, we're winning. You know what I mean? Very rarely you're going to have that happening. And same thing kind of happened last year is, they got there, they were knocking on the doorstep, but it was Milwaukee who went through the trials and tribulations of losing that Eastern Conference final, of losing those games. Very rarely you're going to have the team burst onto the scene and win it all. And I feel like that's what kind of holds me back from really buying into the Bulls, which I hate to say, because they're a fun team. We got our Talking the Line guys, but I don't want to slap them with the pretender label, but I don't think that they are as good as maybe that record indicates. And that stat that you were kind of sharing, Dave, really kind of bolsters that point.
Yeah. I mean, the Eastern Conference right now, Heat 1, Bulls 2, Sixers 3, Cavaliers 4. Tremendous job by Cleveland. And at 36-24, that's 600 winning percentage. That's no joke. They're 19-9 on the road. I mean, legitimate team. The Bucks are right behind them, a half game, 36-25-5. Celtics are 6. The play-in games would be Raptors, Nets, Hornets, and Hawks. The Nets have to play the Hornets in a play-in game. The Hornets could beat them. And the Raptors would be at home against the Hawks. It might be dogs. Now, they'll be small favorites, but that's what I mean. This thing is so hard. So I don't know, man. I can't wait. The NBA is definitely fun again. The West, to me right now, it looks like literally, I mean, I don't know who's beating the Suns or the Warriors in a 7-game series. But goddamn, John Morant is so much fun to watch. I mean, the Grizzlies are right there. They could actually beat one of those teams in a 7-game series. The Jazz got Donovan Mitchell back. They're right there. The Mavericks, Luka Doncic, is amazing what he's doing. The basketball playoffs are going to be fantastic. And for people that, maybe don't enjoy it, didn't like it, have been away from it, jump in now.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things going on. One thing that's not going on, CH, is the Lakers.
That's too bad. That's a shame.
Do you believe what's going on with the Lakers? They just lost by 28 points to the Pelicans.
That's too bad.
That's too bad. 2.5 point favorite.
That's too bad. Hey, we do this every week and we hear this damn song every week. And now we touched on the Nets a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about the Lakers. And there's a song that comes to mind for me.
Really?
I can't think what it could be.
Play the song.
Play the Lakers song.
So we got some requests, boys, on the socials that we need. If we're playing the Sixers song every week, we need a song for hashtag anybody but the Nets or the Lakers. CH and I put our thinking brains together, and we thought this was probably the most apropos song to play after some sizable losses for the Nets or the Lakers. What a shame. What a shame.
That's too bad. So SoCal DGen, you called me out the other day in the chat room about having a song. There you go. We've got a song for the Nets and the Lakers.
SoCal, keep the plays coming, baby.
Keep them coming is right. You can follow him. That's right. SoCal DJ, giving out some great stuff every day. Excellent work, boys. That's the only song you can play right now for this team. They are done. At this point, I don't know if they actually play in the play-in game. They are not going to be one of the top 6. They are going to have to play their way into the top 8. And if I put them right now against, let's see,
Clips.
Clippers, they're dogs. Pelicans, they're dogs. Trailblazers, they might be small favorites. And I can only hope that the Spurs get in there and knock them out. And that's the 7, 8, 9, 10. It would be phenomenal. Listen, they should probably put them out of their misery. You guys are right. Great call with the song. All right. It's football. I mean, we talk football every single week, and we talk football all year round now. It's the scouting combine. There's going to be future talk with odds and things like that. Do you guys? I already know what Newbie's going to say. CH, we'll go right back to you. I personally don't watch it. I'll watch a clip here or a clip there. I could give a shit less about the combine. It's fun to see other people evaluate it, and like Newbie called it a great way of like being an originator. I'll watch something, I'll make my own judgment, but I like to hear about it afterward. I'm not there's guys sitting there watching them lift weights. There's guys sitting there watching them throw balls. There's guys sitting there watching them run sprints, patterns, different things like this. CH, it's a lot of guys and kids and big grown men that are young running in T-shirts and shorts. Are you watching any of this on the NFL Network?
So 2 things. First of all, I remember, and I'm going to be the one that breaks the ice here for the first time in a long time. I remember a certain quarterback out of Michigan at the combine doing his 40-yard dash, and I think they timed him with a sundial. And Mr. Tom Brady was wound up being the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, and he was horrible at the combine. And you see that picture of him standing there with his gym shorts on. He looks like he just came out of left a kegger and rolled in there and to get his picture done. So I don't put a lot of stock in the combine. I think the value in the combine obviously is the interviews and shit that they do behind the scenes when they go and talk to the players, and you have that kind of interaction. But I just clicked on the NFL odds to see if we had futures and what we were looking at for Super Bowls next year. And do you know you can bet on the combine? I didn't know this. There's Newbie's eyes are lighting up. There's like 10 props here. Anyone to break the 40-yard dash time combine record? Somebody breaks it, it's plus 500.
Wow.
4.2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, on DraftKings, you can bet on the bench press. They're all heavily juiced at like minus 115, 120. But the bench press, the vertical jump higher than 43.5 inches at minus 115, the broad jump, the 3. I didn't even know you could bet on this stuff. The 3 cone drill.
Dave, you know somebody's going to be, saying, "Oh, we got the inside track on the NFL Combine. Get my picks now. I have a can't lose on the bench press." Like you already hear the shit coming, Dave. You already hear the shit.
You're right. You're right. Actually, it was funny at the Super Bowl Media Week. We did a zillion interviews, and for those of you that like. People talking to people. I mean, me and Perot got to talk to a lot of people. It's all available on the props.com site. We talked to Johnny Avella, the director of trading. I don't know what Johnny's title is now, but he was the win bet boss for a long time, numbers guy, and took bets, and then went to DraftKings. And Johnny talked about cornhole and professional cornhole betting. And I was like, Johnny, you're full of shit. Who's making cornhole numbers? And he's like, we have it. I'm like, and he said he was watching it and he was making the numbers. I said, I want on the cornhole. I will be your cornhole consultant.
Your consigliere, if you will.
Yeah. I'll watch the cornhole. I'll make the numbers too. I don't know how you're making numbers for that shit. I really don't. And I don't know if you're crazy enough to bet it. Newbie, you were a football guy. You're a football guy through and through. You played, you watch, you do the games on weekends and stuff. You're still playing in adult leagues. You're out of your fucking mind, but you're still doing that too. Are you watching this combine shit?
If there's not, like, I like when the skill players on, like running back day, wide receiver day, I usually at least pop it on if there's nothing really else going on. But now that I'm doing the consigliere way of life, probably not much time to be watching any combine bullshit this year. The one thing I never got, though, is let's time these guys running their 40, as Dave said, in shorts and T-shirts. Like, at least throw shoulder pads on or something when you're running the 40. You know what I mean? Because game speed is different than just running in a straight line. And you see it how many times. For how long did Al Davis just say, give me the fastest person in the draft, fuck it? And how did that work out for him, Darius Hayward Bay? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just have the players, at least for some of these drills, like the 3-cone drill, I think would be great if you throw a helmet and shoulder, like put them in shells at least, and you're going to get more of a true representation. I think it's all pomp and circumstance. It's just one of these things. It's been an institution for so long that it's going to continue. But as far as moving the needle, there's plenty of people, as CH said, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Just because you have a good showing at the combine doesn't mean you're going to be great. Just because you suck ass at the combine doesn't mean you're going to be dog shit. I think it's a very invaluable way. I think you'll learn more about the guys paying more attention to the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Pro Bowl, or the Reese's Senior Bowl. I think you learn more about who's going to be a good pro from that game than you do watching anything that happens in the combine.
I can tell you this from a betting aspect of it. There's guys that are watching this to make their draft bets.
Yeah.
Like there's literally, I think this affects more
fair.
Of your draft
perception. I agree with that.
Perceptions,
100%
wagers there than it is anything you're going to do with futures, like in anything you're going to do with season wins and all that stuff. Because a lot of that stuff isn't up yet. So, in the book, you wait until after the combine, you wait till after the draft to kind of really, put up numbers for season wins. Or, I mean, you have Super Bowl odds up and you have conference odds up. They're not that hard to make, theoretically, and not a lot of people are betting them. I don't think you should be making any betting decisions based on in those markets based on anything you see at the combine. Because
as you say that, though, Dave, it's actually really interesting because if you are a person who bets on the draft, I personally don't. I don't know enough about the players coming out of college to feel, okay, here's the over-under draft position. But if there was ever, a bettor who all they do is look at the draft, you would really be able to – the over-unders you can make a lot of coin on because basically, just like you said, someone who maybe doesn't have the highest draft grade, they then hop up like crazy because what happened in the combine, but that they're going to go a little bit lower based off what your scores are, based off of what your handicap is. So you could potentially fade what happens in the combine and use that public perception or even the scout perception to make some money on that. Now, I'm not doing it. I don't know of anybody who is doing it, but I think you just saying that just really sounded that alarm in my head that probably is a way that people are able to make some money on the draft, come in with an opinion, see how that moves a player up or down, and then use that opinion to fade whatever you just learned about the player. I put in air quotes in the combine. That's kind of fascinating thing you bring up there.
100%. I mean, and that fucking draft market is literally the one. There's one or two things that I just didn't like booking and felt like I was just never had a shot. That was one of them. Yeah, the draft market is just because there's people that know, and we're putting up numbers without that knowledge or knowing.
Yep.
And you can't move them fast enough. Plus, nobody bets the other way. When you have a number up, everybody bets it. You know, he's going to be drafted at the 7 position or below. Boom. He gets drafted. Everybody wins. It's very rare that it ever have the position for the book. That's why the limits are low. That's why, a lot of places limit the markets. It's basically a loss leader, just like, the pop or the soda at the front of the store when they're giving that shit away. They want you in the store. They want you in the book to make wagers. All right. Moving the show along. Nice, boys. I like what we're doing here. Every single week, we mention the Book It Sports app. And they actually sent me a new read to do, and I don't have it with me, so I'm going to do the old read. Nice. If you love the sports bet, listen up. It's the Book It Sports app is here to help make your sports betting experience a breeze. Whether you're looking to talk shop, purchase picks, or simply need an app to keep track of all of your action, Book It Sports is the app for you. In sports betting, transparency is key, and with the all-new Book It Sports betting score, you can easily separate the contenders from the pretenders. What are you waiting for? Download Book It Sports today for free in the Google Play and Apple app stores, and prove to your friends why you're the better. Speaking of better bettors, that's Book It with Trent at Book It with Trent all over socials. My man hasn't hit a parlay in a month. One full month. He's ice cold. Maybe stop doing the fucking parlays, Trent, and do some straight bets.
Yeah, he's a great case study on why not to parlay. But everybody wants to parlay, so hey, more power to him. If he's willing to completely just Venmo us the money. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like just say you bet the parlay and just send it to us. We'll put it into the cash considerations pot.
I've recommended that Trent do that, but Trent has his own program, and Trent's doing his thing. Like, listen, the kid's growing. It's fantastic. He's got the surgical stream and all these things, and the lays and all the things. It's really fun and entertaining. He's building quite the community. So go along, follow him at Book It Sports. The other one I wanted to mention is the East Coast Sports Investors. That's our friend Jeff Dawson, doing some amazing things and posting some great stuff on the Twitter at ECSI Sports Invest. It's www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. March is Jeff's time. March, I've seen the run. He's actually coming to Vegas in mid to late March. So he'll be hanging out in the desert for, I believe it's a 10-day trip. We're going to get together. Hopefully, maybe we can get him on the show. But he's doing the breakfast bankroll. Again, it's eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. He's got some packages available for March. Go follow along there with him. He said, if you still have any questions, ask the real Vegas Dave, not that guy with the goat whale plays. He said to ask me. No iron team, just win and profit. See you courtside for March Madness. Okay. Newbie, we got that place. Not Cousin Cooter. That other place.
Damn it.
Cousin Cooter's on vacation.
Yeah, he's earned his vacation, as has my throat, and I sold my stock in Hall's lozenges, so we're good. It's time for Carl's Corner. What are we doing in that corner? Well, we'll turn our backs around and let you find out as we send it to the host of the Carl's Corner. It's Carl Haskell. Turn that back around, Carl.
As much as I like having my own corner, I kind of don't like the insinuations that come with my corner every week.
Let them draw their own conclusions, CH. I let them, if they have the dirty minds, let their minds wander. For a family show. God,
we are a family show.
Motherfucker.
Right?
We're a motherfucking family show. Oh man,
Tons of bitches. Let's go.
By the way, I noticed I dropped I was giving Gumpy a run for his money. I think I dropped like 20 F-bombs on the show last week. I don't know what the hell got into me, but
I like
a little fired up.
I was a little fired up.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck? So for the corner this week, I think it was the Troy Aikman news that got me thinking about this. Aikman's going to be Bolton, Fox, right? Where's he going to go? I don't even remember where he's going. Where's he going? ESPN?
ESPN. Monday Night Football.
That means I'm never going to watch a Monday Night Football. Now I'm going to have to watch the Manning cast because I can't stand Aikman. Ugh, who do I like less? The combined Mannings or Aikman? Jesus, that's going to be a tough decision. Do they still do the radio broadcast on Monday Night Football? I might just have to listen to the games.
Yeah, I'm Eagle.
We might be doing our own. We might be doing our own show by then, boys.
There you go. Perfect. So anyway,
Monday Night Cash Considerations.
The
Perfect. So it got me thinking of who my favorite broadcasters are, whether it's a play-by-play guy or a color analyst or the sideline reporters and everything. So I wanted each of us to put together kind of our favorites and probably what our dream team is. I think when I put it out in the text, I think I said, what did I say? The Tiddlywinks championship or something like that. If we needed people to go and do the play-by-play and call it for our championship game, who would we want to have broadcasting the game on the Cash Considerations Network? So, Newbie, I'm going to go to you first, since you're kind of in the industry there. You're all tied up tonight for the game. And by the way, if I had a game to do tonight, that tie would be a hell of a lot looser right now than you're wearing yours. I can't stand a tie all the way up to the top like that.
I get it up there. I feel like it's professional. It's fucking there.
Yeah, when you have to leave for the game, maybe not now. I wouldn't have it that tight. Anyway,
I'm show ready 24/7. CH. I actually pull out of bed and tie this motherfucker.
That's right. You never know when the call's going to come, right?
Yeah, like the Batman's broadcast.
So, Newbie, give us your favorites, your favorite play-by-play guy and analysts, and et cetera. Who have you got?
Well, obviously, it's Dan Alexander, aka Dan Newbert, aka Newbert.
Hey, that's my pick.
Crushes every single broadcast. All joking aside, the guy who I actually do call the games with, amazing name, and it's his actual name, Bob McCool, McCool. Didn't have to change his last name, just a all-time great broadcasting name, Bob McCool. He's actually in the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame for his broadcasting career. So Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. So I love calling games with him. It's an absolute treat. But as far as the greatest team of all time, you guys need to listen into a 76ers broadcast of a radio game. Their play-by-play guy is a one-man squad. He has no color. He has no sideline reporter. It's just him, a microphone, and goddamn unfettered energy. He is a spark plug. His name is Tom McGinnis. And he's like, oh, yeah, two-hand jam for Joel Embiid. Like, I guarantee, I just wish I could sit there and watch him. Like, we need an ISO cam on Tom McGinnis. His face is probably purple by the end of the game. He is electric. So he's like my favorite regional one. But to answer the true question that CH asked about, what my ideal team would be, a team that can actually make you care about something that you don't care about is really the concept behind the question that CH asked. You're watching the Tiddlywinks championship. Who would make it electric? Gus Johnson. I mean, anything that comes out of Gus Johnson's mouth automatically just sounds like, oh my God, where is the nearest wall? Point me towards it. I'm going to run through.
Have you seen him do the Rocket Mortgage commercials?
Yeah. I don't even have a house and I want a mortgage. He is the guy, Dave. I love that commercial. I love Gus Johnson. I think he's terrific. I think he did the voice for Madden 08 or something like that. And it's still one of my favorite games of all time, just because whenever I would score, Gus Johnson was going berserk. And it's incredible. So Gus Johnson really, my favorite play-by-play guy. Like outside of maybe, some regional ones, everybody loves Merrill Reese for the Eagles. I kind of think he's a little bit too much of a homer, and that's coming from the Philadelphia homer. So that tells you everything you need to know. My color analyst would be the late one, the great one, John Madden. Having Gus Johnson be up here all the time, like energy, and then John Madden just be like, boom, boom, hey, you got it done, hey, you get the tiddlywink and go, hey, you get the bull. I fucking love John Madden. I did a take a minute about my love for him. And then my sideline reporter, CH, not to be crass, not to be chauvinistic, it's going to be Aaron Andrews, and we all know why. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Aaron Andrews, John Madden, Gus Johnson, legendary crew.
Oh, that's fantastic. And of course, you kicked it all off with Dan Alexander. Maybe he's the pregame host in the studio. Maybe that's should have added that. All right, Dave, we may be going back to a bygone era here. Maybe you've got some flashbacks or somebody that you might call back, but Doobie had a pretty good list. Who do you have on yours?
I mean, obviously it's the three of us would be the booth. That would be, we'd have to figure out how to work the 3-man booth, but that would be a dream. So,
call the girls' softball games, man. That would be unreal.
We could call anything. We call shuffleboard. I'm good with calling cornhole. It would be whatever it is. You're absolutely right. It's bringing energy and excitement to something that you don't care about. You said that perfectly. That's awesome, and I'm stealing that from you. But because we're brothers, it's fine. I will tell everyone that it's at Newbie Talks and be like, yes, this is what it's about. So, I mean, growing up, I was fascinated and grew up listening to stuff on the radio because that's what we did. There was one, then 2 TVs in the house. And at one point there were 7 of us. So I didn't really get to pick what was on the TV, but I could always just pick what was on the transistor radio in my ear or in my room. So forever, Mike Lank was one of the best hockey announcers that I ever heard do a game. And he came up with these crazy catchphrases, scratch my back with a hacksaw, Elvis has left the building, all of these ridiculous things that I think he got from hanging out at the bar with guys like us in Pittsburgh. And he would take them to the air and they became a thing. And then his voice is unique. He was amazing in keeping up with the pace of play. And I think a lot of kids that played hockey growing up in Pittsburgh, we all wanted to be Mike Lank and just be a guy who was excited about a February game against Winnipeg as he was against, the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7. So Mike Lang was my guy. Nationally, I mean, I got to hear Gene Hart too when I went to Penn State. Gene Hart did the Flyers games. Oh, absolute legend. I mean, and so good at his craft. Really good stuff. Now, Harry Callis, I heard when I got to Penn State, because we got the Philly stations and the Pittsburgh stations, hearing him on a daily basis, I was like, you guys, this is like listening to Vince Scully every day. This is so good. You don't know how good you have it. Yeah. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this is just, I used to study in the spring to the Phillies games because I just liked hearing his voice and hearing him talk. So those guys, nationally for me though, Dick Stockton, Al Michaels were guys that I just forever, big games, and Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson, hearing a college football game with Keith Jackson doing it, and you hear him bring it in, it's over. It's done. You're at a big game. I don't think there's any other answer for analysts than Madden. I really, really don't. Like, it was just perfect. And everything he did was goofy, crazy, zany. It connected with every person watching it a different way. And he was perfect. Now, for me, the sideline thing is interesting because that's a good one. And there's a lot of good ones. But I got to meet this guy at Super Bowl week. And again, because I met him before, but Pat McAfee on the sideline doing anything, the energy he brings is inspirational to his show every day. And I think he would be a goddamn riot doing anything as an analyst if you just let him be. I think the sideline reporter has the most unique position in all of this, where I want to either learn something or I want you to entertain me on the sideline. The guys in the booth, I need the play-by-play guy to tell me kind of what he sees going on. I need the analyst to cover anything that he didn't see in a quick hit. The sideline guy, give me something that I don't know or something fun that I can't get to because I'm sitting at home on my couch watching a game. So it's McAfee for me. I think that would be a lot of fun. But the ultimate dream booth is this 3 right here.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
That's a great answer. Actually, that's my favorite answer so far. No offense, newbie, but that's my favorite answer. I like that one. I don't know what we're going to do in Carl's Corner next week, but I do know that I'm going before Dave because this is 2 weeks in a row that he's taken most of my stuff. So, but that's fine. That's fine. That's the way it goes. I did it all football season. You can do it the rest of the way. So for me, the local guy who's got some national exposure and isn't even local anymore because he's moved to San Diego because the Red Sox are stupid. But Don Orsillo is probably the best play-by-play guy for baseball that has ever been. The way that he calls the exciting plays, the way that he gets you through that 10-run blowout in the first week in May when nobody gives a shit. And he can somehow weave the humor into the boring game is just the game has definitely lost some impact here in the last 5 years since he's been gone. What are you going to say, Dave?
He's the San Diego Padres announcer now. And we are a San Diego Padres market. So I get to hear him every day. I liked him in Boston. I love him in San Diego. And I know he's good because he will have it on at night, and Jessica says, who's this guy doing the game? He's really good. And I'm like, oh, this is CH's favorite guy, Don Orsillo, who's become my favorite guy, baseball play-by-play. Back to you, sir. He's awesome.
He's the best I've ever heard. And when he and Jerry Remy, we just lost Jerry Remy over the winter. Remy was the color guy for the Red Sox for, I want to say 30 years. The two of them together were just unreal. And in the last couple of years, they've thrown Dennis Eckersley in as the third man in the booth. And Eck is just, if they did a Manning cast type thing where they just had a guy sitting there talking about the game, he's unbelievable. Talking about, the lettuce on this guy and the hair on that ball and everything. Oh, he's just so much fun. As boring as Dave O'Brien is calling a baseball game, Eckersley just offsets him so well. It makes it very entertaining to watch. I know I'm going with a lot of homers, but I think those are the end of my local guys. Nationally, Al Michaels is the best. He's been the gold standard in my mind since 1980. So 42 years, he's been the gold standard since the Olympic hockey game. He called the Dave Henderson home run in the 1986 playoffs against the Angels. It's high and it's deep and he's back and it's gone. It was unbelievable. Al Michaels he's just been the best forever. And working alongside of him, this guy is very polarizing, probably the most polarizing analyst that we've had in any sport. And that's Tony Romo. I love him. People hate him. I absolutely love Tony Romo. I love the excitement he brings to the game. I love when he calls out a play before it happens. I love when he calls out a play before it happens and he's wrong. And he says, well, I got that one wrong. I love the energy he brings, and it's just unfortunate that he's got to work with, actually he works with Jim Nantz. I like Jim Nantz too.
Yeah, I think that's a good team.
Yeah, I do too. My sideline reporters, I went kind of the same path as Newbie did. Because we're not calling football, we're calling tiddlywinks. I've got Aaron Andrews and Heidi Watney from the MLB network as my two sideline analysts. Good. Heidi Watney did the Red Sox sidelines for probably about 5 years or so, and she was unbelievable there. And my last wild card, and I put this in the text when I sent it out to you guys. Not a big fan personally. I didn't watch the halftime show, but I think Snoop Dogg on the sideline would be absolutely unbelievable. I don't care if he's in a dugout, if he's on the bench, on the sidelines, wherever he is. He would be absolutely the most entertaining. It would be must-see TV to know that he was on the sidelines. He did, what was it, the MMA fights last year, right? He called some of
those boxing matches.
Oh, it was the boxing matches,
was
right?
So good.
He was good.
Oh.
So I would, again, not my area of expertise. His music, I couldn't name one song of his. There's some kind of gin and juice song or something like that.
You
I think I know.
Gin and juice.
Because I used to be a bartender and we had a drink called the gin and juice. That's the only reason I know that. Anyway, those are mine. I mean, Al Michaels with Tony Romo, and then Aaron Andrews, Heidi Watney, and my Snoop Dogg wild card. I think that would be my my sideline group.
Nice work.
See, you six sons of bitches, that's what Carl was doing in the corner. Get your mind out of the gutter. One more order of business to take care of. And for that, we send it back to the consigliere, Mr. Dave Sherapan. Take it away, Dave.
All right, boys. Excellent work. You know, we're always worried about, oh no, football season's over. What are we going to talk about? How are we going to fill the time? We're right on pace. Newbie, we're still what? What did Bama say we are?
If memory serves me correct,
this is an over show, boys.
That it is, boys.
Damn right it is. You can cash that ticket every week, at least until we're doing the show daily. Which,
if you want to give us a hard out and pay us for a hard out, we can hit a hard out. We can we can hit a hard out.
Hit a hard out, easy. That's no question.
Hard out.
Hard out. That's a good one. That's a good. Newbie can go to the Pittsburgh accent. I can't do the Boston one though. We talked about that.
No, I can't. I can't.
Come on, man. It's wicked easy.
What about that awe thing? Nobody uses an awe.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
When I say
caw, wicked hard. It's a wicked hard accent.
Hard. See, like hard.
I end up sounding like a fucking leprechaun whenever I want to do it. I always go super high in the register. I'm like, hi, I never touch my Lucky Charms. And they're like, that doesn't sound like a dude from Boston. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, the Boston dudes sound like the
high up there. Yeah.
I got in an elevator in Palm Springs over the weekend. We stayed in a hotel room for 9 hours, and I get in the elevator to go up, and the lady says, "What floor?" Or I asked her what floor, and she said fall, but she had no R. And I'm like, "Where are you from, ma'am?" And she goes, "Boston." Why? And I'm like, "Oh, really? I would have never guessed." I said, "You just." I heard it in your voice. And I said, I got a guy, his name's Carl. I do a show with him, and promoted the show right there in the elevator, both this and the Boston Everest. But it was hilarious. But you can hear that right away. What you can hear every week too, as well, on the show is the Take a Minute segment. It's how we end the show every week. We each get a rant, we get a discussion, we get a talk. It's about anything. And, there's a lot of things going on. I say this all the time. People are going through shit everywhere. So hopefully this brings a little bit of laughter, joy, reflection, whatever it is. We've had it all covered on the Take a Minute segment of the Cash Considerations podcast. CH, I'm going right back to you this week because I don't want to be accused of taking your shit and you going not first or anything like that. Newbie, it's hard to follow him sometimes. So you get your first crack at it, the Take a Minute segment for What's Up CH on the Twitter. Again, the coordinating producer, social media manager, email guy. Again, email us some show ideas, Carl's Corner ideas, anything you guys think of, you want us to talk about, we can address. It's cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Obviously, the co-host and the originator of the hashtag Anybody But the Nets and the Lakers. On the Twitter, Carl Haskell, your Take a Minute segment starts in 3, 2, 1.
So if you listen to the show, we regularly hear about all the consig kids, right? We hear about big consig, and we hear about middle consig, and we hear about little consig, and we hear about even Mrs. Consig. But you know what we don't hear a lot about on the show is me talking about my kids. And I'm sorry about that. It may be because they're grown. But these two kids have been honestly my best friends for the last 30 years, almost. Oh my God, he's almost 30. Ugh, how do I look so young?
You're doing it right, man. You look good.
I spent some quality time with my kids this past weekend. went to lunch with them on Saturday, went and watched my nephew's hockey game with them on Sunday. And no matter what's going on, these two kids have just been a bright spot in my life since the day they came into it. My oldest son cracked a joke in the middle of lunch the other day. Excuse me.
Don't fucking die, CH.
I'm dying. Cracked a joke
before you die.
He cracked a joke in the middle of lunch the other day, which honestly, I needed it. And I have not laughed that hard in a very long time. Genuine, unadulterated laughter. And it was at my expense as well. So, and as I'm saying this, Major League Baseball rejects MLB's final proposal. Anyway, so thank you, Kevin and Aaron. You guys have been amazing for the last 30 years. I'm so proud of you and so proud that I can call you my kids, and your mother must have done a hell of a job with you, because I don't know what the hell I contributed to that other than the receding hairline and the beer gut. That's my minute, boys. Thanks.
Excellent work, sir. Yes, as a parent, anyone can relate to that. And it's very good to hear that the boys can take shots. They're probably chips right off the old block. I mean, like, it's not like you don't take shots at people and, crack jokes at people's expense all the time. No. So that's what they should be doing, as long as nobody takes that shit personal. Like that's kind of what we do on the show. I think that's why people like the show. We can give each other shit and then tell you I love you in the same sentence. So good stuff there, CH. You always, hit these out of the park. Well done again, sir. All right, newbie. Dan Alexander. His name's Dan Newbert officially, but his official name is Dan Alexander, because nobody can spell this Newbert last name, but it's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. Executive producer here, co-host of the show here, but also color analyst on WEU, a director, producer of shows on Wager Talk. You have your own show on Bet on Lacrosse, soon to be coaching lacrosse. The kid is living the life. He's doing it, signing up for more shit. You got 1 minute right now. Starts in 3, 2, 1.
So, I mean, perfect intro there, because it's now into the playoffs, for the sport that I'm covering. I do high school basketball, and it's kind of a bittersweet part of the year, because it's always exciting. The loser go home thing is terrific, but it brings me back to, when I played sports, and one of the worst feelings in the world, and anyone who played sports at any level knows, when the season is done, that shit hurts, man. And you're young, so you think that's the only thing that matters, because it is the only thing that matters at that moment right there. And this past week, this team that we've been covering, a lot of tough kids, they were down like 20 points in the game, come back, take a lead at the end of the game. They end up losing the game by 1 point. A brutal way to lose when you come all the way back and you end up losing. And after the game, you just see in the tears and, the feeling of, oh, I wasn't good enough. And it's such a shitty feeling. But I think, and it almost ties in with what CH was saying about, being a dad or being a parent, you're going to learn so much more about life and about yourself in a loss than you ever will when you're winning. You know what I mean? Winning's great. Winning feels amazing. It's the peak. It's the pinnacle. You're winning. You're rolling. You feel like you can't be touched. But it's almost like, not to discount the work that goes into winning. Winning is easy. Losing and being humble doing it is fucking hard, man. And that shit hurts. And I just, it kind of just triggered something in my mind when I saw these young men really, emotional after losing just a game. And in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? No, it doesn't. But to them, it was everything. And that's just what I kind of said to him, from covering the game. I just kind of said, guys, it hurts right now because you invested in something. You know what I mean? There's a value to be had in investing in something. And whether it comes up short or not, you can credit yourself and say, I gave it my fucking all. So it was just something that was kind of poignant. It's been bouncing around in my head. When I saw these guys, when I shared with them, hey guys, it's because you invested in something. I knew what my take a minute was going to be. Losing sucks, but you're going to learn so much more about it, regardless what it is that you lost. And that, Dave, is my take a minute.
Excellent work, sir. Absolutely right. Couldn't agree more. You're not ready to hear that shit when you're that age. And you don't really know. I remember losing my last high school hockey playoff game and being in the locker room and being like, man, that sucked. And then going, okay, what's next? Like, we played our best. We the other team just, they beat us. That definitely leaves a mark, and it definitely sucks, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. That's just a rule for life in general. And I hear guys like, I listen to a lot of things that Steve Harvey says. You're going through the storm, it's terrible, but then you wake up and you made it through. And he's right. When you don't wake up, that's when you know the fight's over. So you find a way to get through a lot of this shit. And that's another good example. All right, boys. My Take a Minute segment starts right now. I'm going to play off of you guys because you each put good thoughts in my head. I got to spend one-on-one dad-daughter time with big consig Kylie, 18 years old, who starts her conference season playoff this weekend here in town. She had an off week. She said, we're going to the Mary Nutter. Softball, Division I, schools from over the country. Number 1, Oklahoma, there, went 5-0. Number 3, UCLA, there, went 5-0. Tennessee, Baylor, schools from all over the country, there, all within, arm's length of watching them play. She couldn't wait to go, woke me up. I said, if you want to go, we're leaving at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday. Okay. I didn't believe her. I didn't think she'd get up. 4:30 in the morning, I hear her alarm going off and her getting up. And I was like, well, time to go. And it was time to go. And it was all because we had done these things before playing softball. Me as the coach getting her up. Now as the kid getting me up. And we're motivating each other. We drive 4 hours, spend 12 and a half hours at the field Saturday, 10 hours at the field Sunday, 4-hour drives in between. Greatest 48 hours that I've had with her in a long time. One-on-one, awesome. I can't wait to spend more time with my kids as adults, and I don't have to worry about them. CH just testified to that. Can't wait for it. All that being said, tonight we're all going together to see the Harlem Globetrotters. And we're going to see, I joked with my daughters, we're going to lay the Globetrotters money line no matter what. I'll tell you why after. They don't lose. It's just like, and the little one's like, well, how do you know they're not going to lose? I'm like, don't worry about it. You'll see it a little bit later, Kendall. Don't worry. She's 8. She doesn't know yet exactly how this goes. She remembers going one time we went as a group. I asked her last night, are you excited about the basketball game tomorrow? She has become a Sixers fan because of the song. Every single day, she wants to wear my Sixers hat to school. She's not really allowed to wear a hat, but she's already defied the rules and worn it to school. Tonight, she said, can we both wear Sixers hats to the basketball game tonight, Daddy? I said, you damn well right we can, because I have 2. I have 3 now, and I may be getting more because the song has brought us together to share something. And now the Sixers are playing in LA against the Lakers, I believe, in 3 weeks. Guess what the next trip may end up being? Mrs. Kinsey Jessica does not listen to the show, but the kids might be going to LA to see the Sixers play the Lakers in person. I'm just saying. Might happen. Tonight, we're going to see the Globetrotters. The Globetrotters were in Pittsburgh in 1977. I was 6. My brother was 5. My other brother was 3. Dave, Dan, and Doug. My dad, I don't know how he did it. I don't know who he knew, but he knew a guy. We were sitting courtside. And Meadowlark Lemon, Curly Neal came over and said, hey, do you want to come out and dance? To my 3-year-old brother, Doug, who had the best afro ever. He had that fro. I don't think my mom got his haircut until he was 5. It was up. So they saw this kid. They're like, hey, man, you come out. He saw all these big guys. He started crying immediately. So my mom threw me out on the floor, said, David, go out with them and dance. So I went out at 6. I did everything they said. I held my finger like this. They put the ball on and it spun. We danced. We did all the stuff. Whoever was in the Civic Arena, I brought the house down with the boys, Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal. I was a Globetrotter fan for life. They signed a pennant and gave it to me, and I hung it up in my room. I stared at that thing for days, hours, and thought, how much fun are those guys having? Geese Osby was one of the guys who used to do the thing at the foul line, put it behind his back and do all these things. And I thought, that is what, anything that those guys are doing, I want to do. And I became a Globetrotter fan. And now I get to share that with my family and my kids tonight. Listen, I don't claim to know anything more than anybody else. And I say all the time, nobody knows shit. But man, that is some good stuff. It's through music. It's through sports. It's through life. That's what we talk about here in the Cash Consideration Show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here every week. Hit subscribe. Tell a friend, like McAfee says. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Subscribe to the show. We're going places, boys. Tonight, I'm going to see the Globetrotters. Baseball ain't going anywhere, but we'll be here next week as we are every single week. For the boys, he's Carl Haskell at What's Up CH. He's Dan Alexander. He's at Newbie Talks. And myself, Dave Sherapan, at Sports BK Consig. Enjoy the show, rate the show, review the show, and tell someone about the show. Well, again, we'll see you guys next week.